welcome in, after a long hiatus once again, to the dungeon of the Doctors of Doom Fantasy Football Podcast, brought to you by Golshani Lee, the best guys in town. Hit them up if you ever need help. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. I am your host, Alex the Shark Sparks, and joining me this week is Mitch the Pitch Black. That's right, the dynamic duo is back. We may even have a special guest later in the show, but for now, it's just the two of us. We're here and we're ready to rock and roll. So say hello to all the Delvers out there, Mitch.
Hello.
So, we weren't here last week. I do apologize. I'm just going to be real with you guys. Between how busy our schedules are and how much World Cup action there's been, it's just been too hard to record a podcast. I was going to do a solo podcast, but I couldn't have done it until 2 days ago, which, like, the day after 4th of July, because I'm kind of busy for the holiday, USA. And it's like, doing a podcast 2 days before I do the actual podcast didn't make a lot of sense, so I just postponed it. So, sorry, but you'll get a lot of content today because we have a ton of matches to talk about. We're going to talk mostly about the World Cup. I assume that's cool with you, Mitch, but there is some basketball news. We'll take like 5 minutes at the top to talk about it, if that works for you.
Sure. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've kind of fallen behind on the basketball. I figure I'd catch up with it because, between World Cup and fantasy football is not and work, you know what I mean? And there's not really, I don't know how the rest of everyone else does it, with kids, but I don't really have time for the basketball news. But I'm just kidding. Go for it.
I don't either because I'm not a basketball fan, but I mean, obviously, two big stories. One, LeBron's out. LeBron is not going to be a Laker anymore, so where's he going to go? We don't know, but that's one of the basketball stories.
Ooh. Someone on this podcast might have said a couple weeks ago that it was Golden State before he was officially out, before everyone knew. That's why you listen to here first, guys.
Well, as our resident Laker fan, what are your thoughts on LeBron being out? You happy with it? You wish he'd stayed? How do you feel about it? How do you feel about your team being, for lack of a better word, white?
Um, I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Okay.
I'm hoping, I don't want to hear get a message from our sponsors. So, no, as far as LeBron's, I enjoyed his tenure here. I was never really a LeBron hater. For him going, I mean, it it depends on how much of money he was going to demand. If he was going to be another max contract, which was the rumors, blah blah and everything, then yeah, we now have basically, LeBron played very well, so I'm not trying to knock on him, but like it's basically a max contract player, or we get to fill it out with a bunch of really good role players. So for the Lakers stand, it's a win, but I do want to respect LeBron in the same way that it's like we're not trying to push you out the door. And in the same way, I think maybe LeBron wanted to go. So maybe it's not even up to a Lakers fan like myself who is like, hey, do we want LeBron or not? Maybe that choice was taken away from us and he wanted to go. So it's thank you, LeBron, for your time here. Thank you for bringing a championship. And I mean, there are worse. I say this all the time. There are worse divas in the world than LeBron. LeBron's enjoyable for me.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I actually, this is going to take us a little off topic, but I was thinking about the other day how you can't be a GOAT in sports unless you're kind of loathed in a way or like kind of a bad person, it feels like. And hear me out before anyone takes offense. So I'm going to give you some examples, right? So you have Jordan, considered to be the GOAT of basketball. Some might argue Kobe, some might argue LeBron, and that's why I brought this up. So you have Jordan. He's known as kind of a D-bag of a person. Gambling issues, him kissing that kid was really weird recently. So there's issues there. Kobe, lots of issues there. Rape allegations, things of that nature.
No big deal.
Yeah. Then LeBron, it's more just we don't like that he keeps changing teams, but he's never actually done anything like bad as a person.
Right.
At least that we know of, right? And then you look at other greats, you have Messi with his tax evasion, and you talked about how he was hated for a long time by his country. He retired his country, came back. Ronaldo, everyone talked about how selfish Ronaldo is, how he tries to call offsides on his own teammates when they scored the goal instead of him.
Oh,
you have
God.
Tom Brady, one of people consider the GOAT as a quarterback, who's been involved in tons of cheating scandals over his career. You have Wayne Gretzky, used to be called the Great One, is now referred to as, what was it? Now he's called the Once Great. Or the Great Once, that's what it is. Sorry, he's now called the Great Once and hated all over Canada because he's MAGA. So, like, there's so much stuff that, like, you become hated when you're the GOAT. And it's like you have to have some of that D bag in you, and maybe that's why LeBron never quite reached GOAT status because he wasn't D bag enough.
Uh, well, that's a big difference. Being hated for your politics is a little bit different than some of the other stuff. I feel like a little bit, but yeah. So you're saying LeBron's the greatest at being the least controversial? Is that what I'm hearing? That'd be a bold take.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. I thought it was interesting.
No, that is pretty interesting, but I think it goes back to probably what you said just about not necessarily that's what it takes to be great, but I think it's just kind of how people have handled you your whole life, and you just kind of act that certain way. But yeah, that is an interesting point.
Fair enough, fair enough. But yeah, and then yeah, so other NFL, or excuse me, NBA news: Jalen Brown. That's kind of the big one. Celtics trading him to the Sixers. East to East trade, which is interesting. What do you think about that one?
That one comes down to, well, first of all, they didn't get enough for Jalen Brown, but I think that one has to do with Jalen Brown wanting out. So behind closed doors, no one knows what was said, but I could just take from, TV shows and hosts and podcasts I listen to. It's like basically it's along the lines of something that like, hey, I want to be a number one. I can't be a number one here. I'm not playing here, so these are the list of the teams that I've talked to, and they obliged. Remember, also these GMs and teams got to live beyond past players, and the rest of the league's not going to look at how they handled Jalen Brown and be like, I would love to sign with the Celtics because they'll probably take care of me. It's kind of a concept where they just took the um, a player's point of view. Because you can't do anything if Jalen Brown says, I'm not playing. So what do you do? If you're a GM and Jalen Brown comes up to you and says, I'm not playing this season, I'll fake an injury. What do you do?
I mean, he is having surgery. He's supposed to be back this summer, but yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I just feel like if someone tells you they're not going to play, you need to try to get the most you can out of them, and maybe not send them to someone who is in your own conference. It's kind of how I feel about it, you know.
That's a good point too. And then with Tatum's injury this whole year, I think they also created this beast because he got to be the number one all year. He got to know what it feels like, and he got to be, a lot of people want to be at the top, but then when you get there, it's like, I don't know if I could sustain this. Well, he got the taste of like, I actually can sustain being a number one on a team. So I want to be I'm out later. So they kind of created their, I guess drafting very too good is a good problem to have, but I think they'll live past Jalen Brown. They'll be fine. I think the honest information is a little bit more shocking to me.
Yeah, that was gonna be the last one. I mean, obviously Giannis, he's out. That's a little older news, but still we'll talk about it. I don't know if it's on here, but he's now going to the Heat. But the Heat kind of gave up everything to get him, so is he going to be the exact same situation he was in before, just with a different team?
Yeah, but it's a lot easier to bring free agents to Miami than it is. I know he's what, 31, so you got to kind of do it now than later. But there's a reason why LeBron went to Miami and Bosch went to Miami before LeBron ever quote unquote made his decision. I know they did it privately together, but like, why didn't they all go to Cleveland to play with LeBron? It's a lot harder to get these pros who can make millions of dollars. You know what I mean? It's like maybe championships isn't everything. Getting free agents to Miami is a lot easier. So I'm not too. Hey, Giannis and what's his name are here. Let's play. It's like also LeBron could easily go back there and two. Like that's an interesting topic. I thought for sure it was wrapped up with Golden State, but now that Giannis did go to Miami, you might have not been in contention for a LeBron on a 1 year deal, and now you are. That's why it doesn't matter who they gave up for, you know, to get him.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why the Heat did it. I'm surprised because like it just felt like he wanted out, right? So he could try to win. Then he goes to a team now he's in kind of the same situation, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
the Milwaukee stuck with the brother, but then the brother's allowed to like opt out or something. I was like, this is so rigged for he brings his brother everywhere he goes. It's like, it's crazy. But again, I apologize. I'm being short on the NBA news because I just haven't really read too much about everything.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the stories. We'll move into the good stuff now. Let's talk FIFA World Cup. I'm gonna start with the round of 32 here. Oh, it looks like it's kind of already it shows all of them no matter what round I click on. Actually, Mitch, so
I'm
you're
not
gonna
looking.
see.
Thanks for the
Um,
heads up.
yeah, so we'll go to the round of 32 and we'll just kind of talk about those games. So I'll start at the top. Germany Paraguay. Game 1-1 went to penalties. Paraguay gets the dub eventually. What did you think about that game? Did Paraguay deserve that game? I mean, we can talk about their next game. Well, just the Germany Paraguay game. How did you feel about that one?
Oh, we're gonna lump this into a game we're gonna play called "What's the Most Embarrassing?" This is
Oh,
definitely
okay.
going in.
Okay, well, let's talk
Going
about.
in.
Okay, well, you can do however you want to. Go ahead.
I'm just joking around. We can do however you want, whatever you think would be better for the viewer audience. But this lump, throw this in the bag. This is one of the most embarrassing games. Like, I'm glad they set up, started out and set the bar real low for what's embarrassing to come later after this Germany Paraguay game, because it does get. I mean, I couldn't imagine it getting worse than that defeat. And there are some more embarrassing games coming up. But yeah, that one's terrible. That one's not terrible. That one's like where you clean house. Like goodbye coaches, goodbye. Let's maybe try staff. Like also, I would like to say if you rank the top 35, 40 players, and I did this with my brothers and I've done this with other like this is the weakest German generation I have seen in a long time. There's maybe one or two guys, and depending on how you feel about Musiala, I have Jonathan Tah ranked very highly, so that's like maybe their highest ranked player. Like Leroy Sané's fallen out of graces. Like this is one of the weakest German teams of my life that I've ever seen. And you got to remember when we were, even little infants and growing up, they were winning, beating Maradona in the late 80s, early 90s. I'm pretty sure they won the 94, right? So then they were winning as we were very young, and then they kind of had like a dry, and then they won again in 2014 or whatever. So like it's just this is the weakest German team we've ever seen of our lives. And it still could have contended for a title. And it's so embarrassing more, Alex. And I was telling people, like, man, I know there's been a lot of talk about the Spains and the Frances going into this World Cup, but I think a lot of teams are sleeping on the Netherlands, the Germanys, and the Belgiums of the world. They still have a lot of talent, and then they go out and lose to Paraguay and Ecuador. I was like, oh man, that one hurts. But yes, throw that in the bag, Alex. Remember, come back to this one as the most embarrassing moment of the World Cup so far,
Yeah,
possibly.
and I will say, so again, not talking about Paraguay's other games, it felt like Paraguay deserved that game. They were the more aggressive team. They were the team trying to win. It felt like for much of that
Yeah.
game. So I did kind of feel like watching that game, they were the better team. They deserved that. All right, France versus Sweden. Sweden was kind of set on the tracks, and France was coming through, which is kind of how everyone's going to be when they play against France. I feel.
Yeah, good
Any
luck.
thoughts on that one?
I was France, Sweden.
Yeah,
Gosh, there's been so many dramatic games. That
it's 3-0
was that
France.
3-0? Okay, yeah.
Here,
No,
I'll click
that's
on the
just
individual games so that we can look. You can look at my screen again.
okay. All right, I'm looking now. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I remember. Just it's unfortunate. Gyökeres plays for Arsenal, and back on the last game with Germany, Kai Havertz. Like a lot of people are talking about him, but yeah, this they just outclassed. Nothing you could do. It's like if Sweden had a different round matchup, they could have swung at people, but there's nothing you can do here. We could talk. I'll wait till later France games to talk about France, not this one.
All right. Next one, Canada, South Africa. This just like felt like a game where neither of these teams belonged there, but Canada got the win. It was part of what was kind of an epic opening few games where they all had the deciding goal in extra time. Well, not extra time, I guess entry time, whatever you want to call it. Um, Not overtime. They were both called extra time. It's kind of weird, but yeah, they scored in the 92nd minute to take the dub. I mean, yeah, I got nothing to say about this game.
I wonder why I mean, generally in soccer, most goals are scored within the first 5 minutes of the game, within the first or the last 5 minutes of halftime, the first 5 minutes of halftime, and then the last 5 minutes of the game. It's just statistically how it is, like just like if you look at the math of it. I wonder why it's more accented this World Cup more than ever. Like I get like what I'm trying to say is like, yeah, that's a normal thing for people to score in these minutes, but it's happening more than usual at the normal whatever the rate is. So this one does seem to be like what's a war of attrition was I'm going to get at, and they just kind of like held on a little bit longer. Wasn't very enjoyable to watch. South Africa, this whole World Cup has not been enjoyable to watch at all. Canada underperformed maybe due to some injuries, but they did not feel the home field advantage that I felt like USA and Mexico especially got. But this one was also one of the most forgettable games. If you want to put another bag out there, Alex. You don't need to watch this game to the last 5 minutes, and then you've seen the whole game.
Yeah, yeah. I get look no shade, but it's just like when you do these host nations, they get these super favorable groups, and then of course they get out of them, and it's like Canada didn't win their group; they got second, and it's just like I mean I Canada being a second place team and then getting to play South Africa. Like, what are we doing here, guys? What are we doing?
Yeah, that is a little wild.
All right, next up, Netherlands and Morocco. Tight match. I felt so bad for Gakpo. For those who don't know, one of the Netherlands players, his wife had a miscarriage before the game. Like, not the day of, but like the week leading up to the game. In the game, he scores the go-ahead goal, falls to his knees right there in the box. Like, it wasn't like a celebration. He just fell to his knees crying. His whole team came to support him. It was a sad but also magical moment. And then for Morocco to then equalize, and then they go to the shootout. And Netherlands, if you're looking at my screen, Netherlands didn't know where the goal was because they lost the shootout 3-2, and that wasn't from saves. That was from three guys missing the goal. So, yeah, that was an ugly set of PKs. I know Chris was really, really anti PKs after this game. He was on kind of a heater about that because that was a tough one to watch. And again, we had the tying goal was in the 90th 91st minute, so in extra time.
Yeah, this is the one where you can see how an outside back can actually influence the game. This is, um, it's growing up, Alex. Like outside backs were so we were taught like tuck in, like always stay goal side. Some of these outside backs now are just so far up the field. Hakimi completely showed his class and why I think, even though I'm not a big fan of Hakimi per him personally, um, he he definitely showed why he's a top 20 player in the world. I think I have him listed at like 15 or 16 when I did my list. But yeah, that was one of the best first round games by far. I thought Netherlands was a sleeping giant that could have gone deep, deep into this tournament. Ran into Morocco early, unfortunately. But man, PKs are unforgiving. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean there's pros and cons, but I just think they're BS. I don't like them. I'm always pro goalkeeper when it comes to a PK in the middle of a game. Obviously PKs to decide the game are a little different, but still. All right,
And
go ahead.
I just no, it's like Justin Clivert, Timber, and Somerville all missed their PKs, and it's like those guys. It's like how would that affect you, and for how long? Like this is just a round of 32 matchup that doesn't even supposed to exist, but like some of these guys, like Somerville is he's considered a potent scorer in the Premier League, and he's so like. Does this just go away after a couple weeks? But after you miss a PK in the World Cup, how long does this affect you? Like a legitimate question. Is this a month later, I'm professional, back on to the next year, or is this something that lives in you forever? Alex,
What does it live with me forever though? Which thing?
missing a PK at this stage.
Me personally, I would never I could never let it go. But I'm also not a world class athlete. And I think world class athletes have to be able to let them go. Something we're going to talk about later is, Messi has missed three of his last four PKs, including a new record he set today. He's the first player ever to miss two PKs in one World Cup. So, you know what I mean? You just have to have that mental fortitude to forget it happened and play on. He scored the equalizer later in that same game after missing the PK. So, um, I could never let it go. It lived with me forever. But I think for world class athletes, in order to be a world class athlete, you have to be able to let that go, at least to some extent. I'm not saying you'll just forget that it ever happened, but you have to be able to let it go so it doesn't affect the rest of your career.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know if I could. People that would have the courage to step up and take some of these PKs because I don't think I could ever let it go. So it'd just be easy to be like, I don't want to take the PK. So that's what I'm setting up for one of the PKs. Was it the Germany Paraguay game with when Jonathan Tah missed the PK against Paraguay or whatever? It's like if you watch, there's Google it on YouTube or whatever. Kimmich is walking around. They remember they're in PK number 6 or 7, two extra after, and he's walking around and he's pointing at the players. And like people didn't even make eye contact with him. Like, oh, like you're standing there on the line, Alex, and the captain of the team comes up to you and is like, "You want to take a PK?" And you fully intended to, to duck it, to avoid it, and now you're in PK number 6 or whatever, and it's like you don't even make eye contact with the captain because you don't want to go take this PK. And Jonathan Tah, who's a defender, says, "All right, I'll do it." Takes up and blasts it over, and that's why they end up losing to Paraguay. It's real tough. I just want the audience to know, like, these PKs, players should not be wanting to go for it. They do not want to go to PKs. I mean, some player teams do if you're, Cape Verde against, Argentina or whatever, but other teams do not want to.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not a big PK guy personally. I think it's super rigged in favor of the player. And then, like you said, when the player does miss, that can really affect with your mental health.
For
And I
sure.
hate seeing that because there's also a lot of fans that are quite frankly d-bags about it when you do miss. It's like, oh, how could you miss that? They're so easy. It's like, yeah, they're easy when you're kicking them against your buddy Phil in the backyard. They're not easy when you're in a stadium of 80,000 people and your entire country is watching with all their hopes and dreams on your shoulders.
Just to put it in reference, the guy who took that PK for Germany and missed and then losing, in my opinion, is the number one rated center back in the world, number one defender in the world, in my opinion. You can argue a couple others like Upamecano, Saliba, like Marquinhos, I might be missing one other, or Bastoni from Italy. But in my opinion, he's number one. So unarguably the number five. Do you know how elite you must be at kicking the soccer ball and playing soccer to be like the number one player in the world? And he walks up and blows it over the net, not even close. And for people to understand, this is 8 yards away from the goal line. Like, this is not, that's, you know what I mean? For him to miss that, do you know how much nerves there must be in a person? Like, you don't just accidentally miss kick that when you're that person. So like, yeah, it's, it's tough. It's so tough.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
for
next
sure,
one.
for sure. All right. Next up is Portugal versus Croatia. Difficult one for me to watch. I've been a big Croatia fan last couple of World Cups. They've outperformed. Um, and I absolutely love the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo is a group stage merchant. This was his sixth World Cup. He had never scored a knockout stage goal in 6 World Cups. That's how much this guy is the anti-clutch. And then, of course, he gets a PK against Croatia and scores. And then Croatia scores to tie the game in like the 98th minute and has it overturned. And it's just because a guy's hair touched the ball. For those who didn't watch that, they have technology in the ball now to see if the ball gets redirected or touched. You cannot see on camera that he touches it. The ball clearly does not change trajectory, but obviously something touched the ball right when it passed his head. Must have been a hair. So they ruled it no goal. Makes his teammate offside since when he would have been onside. And yeah, heartbreaking. I really wanted Croatia to win. I don't dislike Portugal, but I really wanted Croatia to win. And also, I hate PKs, and the fact that Ronaldo finally got a goal and was on a PK just really irked me.
Can you type in the highlight of it and pull it up, Alex, on the video? Pull up the ending play from Croatia, Portugal. And I'll
I
just say while you're pulling it up. Yeah, it's sad to see Croatia leave. End of Modric, who was what, 2018 Player of the Year, 19 or whatever. Actually, might have been later than that. And
Explore
then
the
Kramaric, and Ivan Perisic, like those guys were amazing, amazing players for the last like decade, and it's gonna be sad to see them not part of Croatia in the future. All right, so when you show this video, I think let's see here. This is not gonna work for our viewers, but I think if you go to yeah, just go a little bit forward.
Well, it's about to happen, right? It's on this. This is
Yeah,
on.
right.
Yeah.
So you can't even see it, but it's not,
Hold on. Let me show the VAR or the.
and you can't even really tell if it hits them or not.
Well, you know what else is crazy? The reason we got this match in the round of 32, which is a whole other thing I'm going to rant about later, is because these guys were two second place teams. Portugal and Croatia were two second place teams. Portugal should not have been like they kind of dropped the ball by getting second place. Croatia was in a group with England, so I'll give them a slight pass on that. But
Was it England or yeah, yeah.
yeah, with England. So, but yeah, I mean, if Portugal wins their group like they're supposed to, then Croatia plays Ecuador here, right? Not
Oh,
Portugal,
gotcha, yeah.
and we might have a whole different set of circumstances. But it is what it is. Like you got to do what you got to do, and yeah. So Portugal gets the dub. All right, Spain Austria. I think no one really ever thought this one was going to go any way other than how it did go.
Right.
Spain claps Austria. Don't really have much to say there.
No.
All right, U.S. versus Bosnia. USA. Yeah, obviously this game was interesting for sure. We got a goal at the very end of the first half, which is great. I've said all tournament we are a first half team. We need to score in the first half, and we did. Shortly into the second half, however, one of our players gets a controversial red card. A referee that had not given a card the entire game. When the foul happened, he didn't give a card. But then on VAR review, they changed it from no card to red card at the 64th minute. U.S. had to play a man down. We ended up scoring a shorthanded goal on a beautiful direct kick from Malik Tillman to take the 2-0 lead and get the W. Mitch, you've been holding back a rant on this, I'm sure. Go ahead. Let me hear what you think about the red card.
Well, I said before it's okay, so if you look at it, it's a red card. Like the foul itself is a red card. But it's the way it's called on the field and the protocol of how VAR is supposed to be used, that's not how VAR is supposed to be used. So I'm very torn on this because it's like it wasn't in consistency with how they've decided to implement the technology. For example, when Florian Balogun jukes on the left side of the when they're attacking to our right or whatever you're facing. He's at the top of the box and he jukes a player. There's very, very minimal contact, and Balogun feels that minimal contact and goes down trying to grab a PK in the box. It's like in the 20th minute or something like that. And it's like, okay, that's fine. The ref didn't call it on the field, so VAR doesn't want to overturn that and call him back as basically an overhead replay at all times. Because if you go back and look at that replay, it's clearly he gets touched. Does Balogun go down very easily? Yes, 100% he does. But he does get touched, and it's very obvious in the replay. So it's like if you go back and look at that replay, that's a PK. But you don't want to call that a PK because that's not how VAR protocol is supposed to be used. Now, fast forward to the red card, same thing, but whoever the VAR ref, I forget, I know Rafael Klaus was the main ref. He did not call it even a foul on even a yellow card. The VAR ref signaled down and said, "Hey, you need to retake a look at this." If you go back and retake a look at a lot of the fouls that happen on corners, you could probably give a yellow card every time there's a corner. But that's not the protocol of how VAR is supposed to be used. So they don't call it back and say, "Hey, there was a foul called on this corner." Usually they've only used it to look at contact with the goalie. So it's just like, yeah, well, you kind of used VAR not how it's supposed to, but then there's also a part of me it's like when you look at that play, that's a red card.
Yeah,
Now,
but here's my argument though. Like, let me see if I
yeah,
can play this video. Is my issue with it is when you watch this play in real time,
yeah,
there's no intent there. He's clearly not trying
right,
to injure that player. He's not trying to step on his foot. There's just two guys going for the ball that collide, coming in
yeah,
sideways towards each other.
yeah.
Right? Now, yes, when you slow it down in super slow mo, it looks bad, no doubt. But
There's
when you see
Alex, I
it
don't mean to,
live,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like a foul, and that's why the ref didn't call one when he saw it live.
Agreed, but when you play it back, what you can't unsee, playing it back is you have an obligation to keep your studs down at all times. If you think Balogun's going for the ball there or just trying to get the ball, I think we're being a little naive. I think you're going through the back of a player as a hello, nice to meet you, what's up type of
Well,
move.
I
You
mean,
know what I mean?
the studs are down though. Like they scraped the back of the guy's leg, yes, but like the studs are
Right.
down. It's not like the studs were up.
But you have an obligation. If I'm standing here already, you can't just go through me. Like Balogun has an obligation when you make a slide tackle or whenever you lift your cleat, you have an obligation of like to know where your foot's gonna land. You can't just land on top of players. Like it's definitely like Balogun's intent is not there to hurt the guy. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely like I'm gonna be physical on this. I'm gonna come through you because I'm bigger, stronger, and I don't like how you're trying to body protect the ball coming up to you. It's like a point possession. They play that pass to feet, and he's supposed to hold the ball. Well, I'm not going to let you hold the ball because I'm going to go right through you. That's kind of what happened. And obviously, I'm also assuming a little bit there just from me watching soccer my life and playing it that like that's what happened. And then he got way too much of the player. But back to originally is like there's no intent there, which a red card does necessarily need, or doesn't necessarily need, because. But yeah, you can't have VAR. What I want is just strict protocol of how the VAR is supposed to use, not pick and choose of how you want. That was my issue was. And if you go and pick and choose, like Messi accidentally stands on the back of the was it the Algerian player? It's nasty. He gets him all the way high up on the calf and goes all the way down the back. You look at that and you're like, that's a red if you look at it, but it was an accident during the play. He wasn't trying to do it. And you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like if you slow down the tackle of a lot of these things, they're going to look card worthy. So, yeah, I agree with you that it shouldn't have necessarily been a foul, and Balogun needs to be careful though. So I'm torn. It's tough. What I don't like though, Alex, is I don't like them rescinding the ruling. If you're gonna give a red card, this is how it's gonna be. Like I'm already like you can already debate the ref during the game. As one person said to us, the ref is like the weather. You're just gonna have to deal with it. There's so much truth to that. I get it, but what I don't like is rescinding the red card after and allowing him to play against Belgium. That irked me more than the red card, to be honest with you, because if from a objective, bystander, imagine if like France was hosting a World Cup or England or someone and their president calls the president of FIFA and they get something overturned. I would be rooting against that country so hard. Imagine if Qatar's am I saying that Qatar, whatever, if like they're, you know, man, I'm gonna sound stupid right now, but prime minister or whatever you want to call it, if he called in and got some red changed for Qatar, like, or even a different country, I'd be like, wow, that's such BS. Heck no. Let alone if like a big country like USA, England, France, like countries that have World Cup hopes and dreams, it's like no, that's BS. Like, we instantly became the bad guys as soon as that happened. Like, a lot of countries, whether they admit it or not, it's like, yeah, you like to root for a like they were rooting for the US and Mexico. Obviously not when we played their country, but I bet you there was a lot of people in Belgium that was like, yeah, let's root for the US during this World Cup. Obviously not when Belgium plays us, but we don't know who we're going to play, right? But yeah, then neutral games, US, let's Mexico, go US, go Mexico, go Canada. But the whole Europe and the rest of the watching world instantly we became the bad guys right then and there. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care who the president is. It has nothing to do with Trump, Alex. It's just whoever the president, prime minister, whatever you want to call it, like that person intervenes and gets a red card overturned in a sporting event. Like, nah, we're not rooting for you anymore. Come on. No way.
Yeah, it definitely added a lot of pressure. I do agree with you. Like, it shouldn't have been given, but also like it probably like it made me feel better having it overturned as a fan of the team. But I totally understand like because now England went and got themselves in my opinion, controversial red card in their match, and that one's not going to be overturned. And when that one's not overturned, it does make it look like they were playing favorites to the host nation. Which, look, there is precedent for that. FIFA has played favorites to the host nation before in other ways. They also, Ronaldo was supposed to miss the first 2 games of the group stage, and they suspended his red card as well. So
Yeah, from 4 years. That's yeah. I get okay. Yeah, that one's not as egregious, but for sure,
I'm just saying, like it, there is precedent
agreed.
for what happened. It's just it's not a great look, and then especially with what happens next. But we'll get to that in a minute. So U.S. does get the dub, even shorthanded. Vallo is allowed to play. Belgium Senegal. This game was an absolute banger. Senegal goes up 2-0 early. Belgium scores both goals to equalize with like 10 minutes left in regular time.
Yeah,
Like the 85th minute and then like the 90 something minute, I think.
yeah. This
86th and
one,
89th, yeah.
yeah, 89th. Yeah, this one was tough for me to watch. I mean, it was great to watch, but it's tough for me because like I don't know how to describe it, Alex. There's a player on Senegal. His name and two of them actually. One's Sadio Mane and the other one's Koulibaly. Like these guys were considered like the best of their positions. They 3 or 4 years ago, well now four, they left to go play in the Saudi Arabian League, and then you watch them play this tournament. They look like yes, now they're 33 and 34 years old, and they were 30, 31 on the top of the world when they left for the Saudi Arabian League. The, they look like not even shadows of themselves. They look like if I didn't have the name on the back of them, I would not know that was Koulibaly, once one of the greatest defenders to ever play soccer, like or Sadio Mane, who was considered the third best player behind Ronaldo and Messi for a good 5 years. Like it's so wild to watch. Like Senegal, in my opinion, they have such great talent. Senegal has 4 or 5 guys that are better than any American who's ever played, and they could not put things together. Like they need an actual coach structure, and Senegal underperformed on a what's it called? Like, if I were a Senegal fan and knew soccer, I'd be like, why are we have so much talent and we can't do anything? The only way we advance is by putting up 5 goals on Iraq, and then we're down 2 goals, and like, I don't know. They underperformed. I'm actually happy Belgium. Well, Belgium ended up playing us. I don't think we have a chance against Senegal. USA, I think, actually had a chance against Belgium. I don't think we had any chance against Senegal, and I'm just being honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously we didn't stand much of a chance to get the Belgium either based on what we saw, but yeah, Senegal definitely had this one in the bag and then absolutely blew it. And then I also just hate how it ended. I mean, it ended on a PK in the 125th minute, so an extra time of the extra time. I feel about PKs, but that's how it ended.
So Koulibaly was the center back. They subbed him out in the 80th minute of that game, and the replacement center back, Cease or whatever his name is, not Niakate because Niakate plays for Lyon, but the one who came in was the one who gave up the foul. That's yeah. It's you can't write a script like this. This guy's supposed to be the best in the world 3 years ago, and then gets subbed out in the 80th minute because they're still down 2-0 or the 75th minute, and that the replacement's the one who gave up the PK. This World Cup has so many storylines that are just amazing. But RIP Senegal, those two are gone. Like you guys underperformed, you deserve to lose. That made me. I was happy Belgium won that game.
Yeah, I mean, I was like for Belgium, but then like obviously I didn't want to cheer from their next match. But yeah, anyway, Belgium got the dub. This game was great, super fun to watch.
Yeah.
Maybe not if you're not a Senegal if you're a Senegal fan, maybe not so much fun to watch once you get to 89 minute onward. But up until that, pretty fun to watch.
Head coach had some great outfits though. We're going back to the uniform stuff and the outfit stuff. Head coach of
Oh yeah, hey,
Senegal.
let me get my uniform rant on. You can see it right here on De Bruyne. What the hell, Belgium? Light blue with pink? What is this? Have
They
you
just
seen
don't
your
take us.
flag? Have you
This
seen
is
your
how.
flag?
That's just how little they took us seriously. They thought it was just like
They
a
wore these
little.
against Senegal. They wore these against Senegal too. That's what gets like Senegal wore green. Like okay, so you can't wear yellow and red because Senegal is also yellow and red. So wear black or just wear the standard white. They're like, nah, man, we're gonna go light blue and pink. I was like,
It's like
what? And they doubled down and wore those a second time against. I couldn't believe it. I was so ready with my rant to talk about how they got clapped by Senegal because of the uniforms and they came back to win. Ruined my whole thing.
still in it.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Brazil versus Japan. This game was kind of fun. Japan scores first, draws first blood, and you think, oh man, they might do it. They might upset the Brazilians. But then the second half happened, and they didn't.
Just for the viewers, if you're looking at that formation and lineup on the thing that he's showing, that's the exact formation that I cried bloody murder about 4 years ago. That I said the U.S. cannot run to be successful. Just in case anyone was wondering and looking at the TV. But yeah, this game was not. I think what Japan scored in early, right, and then uh, yeah, this one was 1-1 for most of the game. Pretty dull. Brazil was dominating, and then scored late before extra time. I remember. Yeah, Brazil's been. That's pretty much the story of Brazil this World Cup. I tried to tell. I think I said on this podcast before they left a lot of talented players. I mean, don't get me wrong. Their starting 11 are still all almost world class, but they lost. They in a World Cup where you saw five, six substitutes because you get an extra sub in extra time or whatever, not to be confused with Alex's stoppage time. You get there's World Cup teams are basically you start 11 guys, but only but one's your goalie, so 10. You're getting basically you're subbing half your on-field players is what I'm struggling to say. That's quite a significant change from soccer that we are used to. So Brazil leaving off so much talent, so much ability this World Cup where you saw head coaches with the five subs utilize like complete lineup changes, which allows you to run a different formation, different tactics. You basically get to be a different team with that many subs. Brazil's just like, nah. And what was it? The same with the I forget which game. I'll come back to me in my head. I apologize. But yeah, there's a lot of head coaches that are utilizing this amount of subs that change the team's tactics. And Brazil just decided to leave a bunch of talent home. They took seven guys from Nacional and Flamengo. That's basically two of the top club teams in Brazil. If anyone's wondering, guys who don't play overseas, like I don't know about you guys, but the MLS is better than the Brazilian Brasileiro, however you pronounce it, league. So like they have seven guys, eight guys on the Brazil national team that are worse than MLS players. Just think about that. So I think they just kind of did it to themselves. They're mundane, I mean average, but don't worry for Brazil. They have so much talent all over the place. They just reload. They'll be back.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say, well, they won this game, so we don't talk about them being back yet. But they won this game, so
Right.
let's move on to the next game.
Well, I just meant in general. Yeah, sorry. Got ahead.
All good. Ivory Coast, Norway. This game was fun. This was a fun game. Ivory Coast played well. Norway played well. Erling Haaland is just unreal. The fact that
Yeah.
he is, as of right now today, we are now through the round of 16, and so we're going to the quarterfinals. Messi leads the Golden Boot race with 8. Erling Haaland is tied in second place with Mbappe at 7, and Harry Kane at 7.
Yeah.
Um, Erling Haaland sat out a game. Sure, didn't play one. Like that's just wild, man.
Uh, I don't know how to describe him. Uh, in football, like wide receivers need their touches and they need their touches early. And if you don't get on the ball early, they kind of mentally disconnect from you on the game. You know what I mean? And I know everyone knows wide receivers like that. Like in basketball, I watched probably I'm not kidding around now. It's like almost 98% of every single game Kobe played. That guy, I would be so hard to play with him as a teammate. He is so ball dominant. The ball stops in his hands, does not leave his hands. Like the amount, it's like Durant too. A lot of people are hard to play with Durant because he's so ball dominant. Like who I'm trying to think of other examples. I don't really know hockey to give an example, but uh, some guys, in order to affect the game, they must have the ball in their hands. Like Russell Westbrook. I almost said Brian Westbrook. Geez. There are running backs too, where it's like you need to get them 4 or 5 touches early to get them going. Holland is the opposite of that. It's so fascinating to watch him. He just does not care. He doesn't touch the ball like 2 or 3 times the whole first half and then puts in like two world-class goals. I don't know how to describe how rare this guy is.
Yeah, he just walks around slowly, then all of a sudden, bam, scores. He is averaging going into the round of 16 game. He was averaging 1 goal every 14 touches. He scored 2 goals on 26 touches, meaning he beat his average in that game, which is insane.
I guess the only thing that comes to my mind is Klay Thompson in basketball because he doesn't dribble at all. He just runs off screen, shoots. He's like catch and shoot. He never dribbles. It's like the closest thing I can think of. You're always trying to make comparisons. He's the next this, the next that. Like he is unique. Holland is very unique. He's kind of a throwback almost.
I mean, he's also like 9 feet tall, which definitely helps. But it's
It's
more than
not,
just the
it's,
height. But anyway,
yes.
all
Yeah, in
right,
soccer world, this definitely helps though.
definitely helps. And now we'll rotate guys with no height. Mexico, Ecuador. Mexico, man, they were balling out. They hadn't conceded a goal, didn't concede in the round of 32, got the dub over Ecuador. Um, looking good, looking good, Mexico. And you commented on their strategy of not letting their opponent sleep. You want to go on and talk about that?
Yeah, I would not be able to. Those videos are wild. Delver audience or whatever, dungeon audience, go Google. These videos are wild. The fireworks are hitting the side of the buildings that the opposing players are supposed. I think England booked 4 or 5 hotels or something like that to try and disguise, and it's still nope. Found out where they're sleeping. You can see in some of the video the Ecuadorian players are at the window, just like what is going on. Um, Ecuador got that win at the end there against Germany, and then they looked a little outclassed against Mexico. I think a lot of teams got outclassed because of the home field advantage that Mexico truly had. So it's hard to judge this game for what it's truly worth. But yeah, Mexico did do well or has done well.
Yeah, and yeah, for those who don't know, they basically just had marching bands and fireworks and all sorts of things to prevent their opponents from sleeping. In fact, before their England game, England allegedly booked 14 different hotels
14.
to try to hide where they were staying. Didn't work. Mexico found them pretty quickly. And by Mexico, I mean the fans, not the team, obviously. Uh,
Yeah.
Mexican fans found them pretty quickly, and they were celebrating the 4th of July by launching fireworks at the hotel um, that England was staying at. All right. Speaking
How
of
do you feel
England,
about that?
PT Dub, man, play to win.
Yeah,
You know?
same. As long as no, that's why I said to people asked me, I was like, as long as no one got hurt, as long as no one's getting hurt, like it's a game, you
I would
know?
say as long as you are not physically harassing someone or
Correct.
breaking the law. Now, if shooting fireworks at the hotel is breaking the law, that's on the police to enforce that. And when I mean physically, like getting in someone's face, pushing someone, like that kind of stuff. So,
That's what I meant too.
but like,
That's what I meant.
if
Harassment.
you're making noise outside a building, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Agreed.
So, all right. Speaking of England, though, England versus DR Congo, man, this match was epic. Congo drew first blood, and you thought for a long time Congo's going to do it. They scored super early. All they got to do is D it up. But then Harry Kane, who's looking to get himself knighted, back-to-back goals in the 75th and 86th minute to break the hearts of a nation, because, man, that would have been an epic underdog moment for DR Congo to eliminate England. Like, yeah, the World Cup may not have been as good with England eliminated, but, man, that would have been an epic underdog story.
Yeah. Also, Congo's interesting. They're a large nation. I think I had to just look it up right now because I couldn't remember, but they're 11th largest in the world. And if you look at a lot of these, excuse me, if you look at a lot of these world-class players around the world that are playing for other countries, a lot of them have Congolese or there's like DR Congolese and there's a couple other when I was reading about the history or what or I was because I was interested and there's from those areas if they can just I know this is weird but like if they could just have their athletes play for their country. I'm telling you, Congo's a World Cup contender, and it's not even close. Like they have so many World Cup players that are playing for, elite clubs and elite nations around the world, and then you're like, oh, what's his actual background? And you realize, oh, it's Congolese, and like it's like Mbappe has Cameroon background. There's a lot of players that have Congolese background, so it's interesting. I mean, they're obviously going through their country's issues, but maybe sometime in our, the next generation of future players, I telling our, listeners we'll be on the lookout in 20 years for the DR Congo.
Hey, the last time Congo was in the World Cup, they were Zaire. They weren't even Congo. It was 40 years ago.
Yeah, so as long as they can keep a little stability on that side, there's so many athletes that are coming from that area, those two areas. So
And I mean that is, look,
it's
that is the
fascinating.
positive of expanding the World Cup, right? Like I've been pretty against it. There's a lot of teams that haven't been as fun to watch that kind of got rolled, but there are teams like DR Congo who probably would not have been in the World Cup if not for the expansion, and they were fun to watch, right?
And because you have a chance through the expansion, athletes are more willing to pick one of those countries as opposed to it's like, so I picked to be DR Congo and never, ever, ever play in a World Cup, or I could pick this other country. Now at least the alternative option is I could play for Congo and at least play in some knockouts or some, group stages for a little bit. It definitely has that effect. I agree, Alex. That's well a good point.
Yeah, instead of having to ride the bench for some other country that
Exactly.
you'd never get to play, but at least you get to say you went to the World Cup. Now it's like, okay, well
Yeah.
I get to play and I have a chance to go.
Right.
Um,
Right.
Speaking of the underdog heroes of the World Cup, Cape Verde, Cape Verde, Cabo Verde, a lot of different ways to say it. I don't know the correct one. They played Argentina. Argentina have been lucking their way through. Quite frankly, they haven't played an opponent that is like, I think their average opponent is like average rank 65th like in the
Yeah.
world over the last year. So they haven't exactly been playing tough talents, but Cape Verde showed up, showed out. Uh, Argentina went ahead, Cape Verde equalized. Argentina went ahead, Cape Verde equalized, and then unfortunately there was an own goal in extra time. But yeah, this match was amazing, super fun to watch. Obviously heartbreaking for Cape Verde, but probably better for like entertainment value to have one of the favorites move on, but still epic game.
Um, how many what's it called? Uh, how many how many followers do you think Tom Brady has?
No clue.
Okay. Who do you think has more, Tom Brady or Vazinha? Vazinha has 35 million followers and Tom Brady has 16.
That's
Just from
crazy.
Yeah, just from this World Cup, he's that much more popular than our greatest American football NFL football player is. So thought that was interesting. No one made it better than him. That man's rich, so good for him. He's the real winner of that game.
Yeah, I mean he also has more. He had more dribbles than Ronaldo, I think, through that
Oh
stage,
gosh.
which is hilarious. Um, but yeah, he put some jukes on. He won the hearts. I was gonna say hearts of the nation, but hearts of the world really. They were the heroes of the World Cup for sure. Sad to see them go. Um, but yeah, super fun to watch. Great. If you're gonna watch any matches like of these, I'm highly recommending Belgium, Senegal, Portugal, Croatia, England,
Croatia,
DR
yeah.
Congo, and Argentina, Cape Verde. Those are the ones you want to watch.
Yeah. Why does Argentina keep playing these smaller nations and be coming up with like just
Dude, their side of the
just
bracket is
amazing
unreal.
games? Their side of the bracket is a joke, but they keep having these unreal games like against, we'll get there, Egypt, Cape Verde, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Australia, Egypt went to a shootout. Australia once again couldn't find the goal. Egypt gets the dub. Not really a lot to talk about there. Pharaohs versus Socceroos. Cool nicknames. Best thing I got to say about that match.
Is that get their nicknames are given by them, right? That's not just us being racist.
Yeah, no, that's their actual nickname.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make
No,
sure.
that's not just me being a jerk.
I know. I'm just like I'm wondering if that's just like an American thing, like that's what we call them, and it's not like what they call themselves. Because, like, if Egypt wants to call themselves the pharaohs, I feel like if we do that, that might be a little different. Okay, back on track. That game, Australia was also just not enjoyable to watch this whole World Cup. They came in with a lot of players from there that play in their own country in Australia, their own league or whatever. So they have a lot of time to play together year round. So they institute these crazy, stupid tactics, and they end up scoring like one goal the whole World Cup, and one of them was like an own goal. So it's crazy, disappointing.
All right, moving on. Switzerland, Algeria. Algeria never really stood a chance. They looked aggressive early, but then Switzerland kind of took over and got the two goals against the run of play but we all kind of knew going in they weren't going to win, so they put a better fight than we thought, but didn't get there. And then Colombia, Ghana. Colombia was the better team, and they got the W. Not a lot to say there. I don't really have anything to say about those last two games. I'm ready to move on to round of
Oh,
16, unless you do. Unless you do.
no, it's all good.
All right. So round of 16. This
I'm
is
nervous, Alex, to talk, comment on Colombia because I know there's a game that's already happened, and I'm nervous to comment on how well I think they've looked at everything because then it's gonna be really embarrassing when they've already lost
I'm
and
trying
gotten
so
knocked
hard not to
out.
show you because I accidentally saw the results. So I'm not going to say anything, but I'm trying hard not to show you. All right. So let's move on to the round of 16 now, which is where the knockout stage used to start. Used to the World Cup, knockout stage started here. So we got past the free basket stage. This is where the knockout stage normally is. We'll start with Paraguay, France. This one, France scored not early, but they scored early enough to take the lead with a penalty. Hate penalties. Paraguay was playing defense, but they were also playing super dirty.
Yeah, that's their style. They didn't have a chance. I mean, their best players like Almiron, he's like a 20 mil or $15 million player. Like France doesn't even have a $15 million player. It's like so cheap for like no one on that roster is worth that little. So you could throw this in that bag, Alex, of most forgettable. You in that bag with that South Africa Canada game.
It was ugly. This game, like I was mainly just afraid France was gonna have someone get hurt. Is what just because like it was ugly. They
Yeah.
were they were playing dirty. Paraguay also got a second red card for um, I don't remember what the red card was for, but they got another red card. Had to play man down. But yeah, France got the dub. All right, moving on. Canada versus Morocco. This is where the real knockout started, and this is the first game where the better team got crushed, which didn't make a lot of sense. But if you watch this game, Canada was the better team for almost the entire game. They were dominating the ball. They were dominating possession. They had the better opportunities. Morocco had one, two, and then three fast break goals. And honestly, the second and third fast break goal probably wouldn't have happened if Canada wasn't chasing the game.
This is a masterclass technician game, though. Morocco had much more talented players. They wanted Canada to come in, and it's like not all possessions created equal. Certain types of possession, depending on how positive it is, some's not threatening, some's you know have. It's this one was much more. This one reminded me for some reason I don't know why, but it's just turned out to be much more of a Europa League type game where they're not the elite teams, but they're that second league behind the Champions League. Still great world class, teams like, Leverkusen and all these great teams. So it's like they play a little bit more tactics. This one seemed to like Morocco was just kind of like, if we let you get a little bit closer and we win one of these, you don't have the talent to stop our counter attack. Like I don't want to get ahead of myself, but Brazil tried to do that same strategy and it just fell on their face. But Morocco was able to implement it a little bit better. It's like this new age. I forget who they're maybe Klopp. I forget who they attribute it to. This maybe Diego Simeone with Atletico over the last like 5, 7 years. But basically, it's like we're gonna sit in and then we know exactly when to counter because then we could just exert our energy then. But yeah, it was this one wasn't as good to watch as I think people. I think it was a lot more comfortable than people realized.
I don't know. I mean, you can say that, but I watched this game. If you look at the momentum graph, Canada was all over them. I mean, I really do think Canada was all over them.
How do they do? Okay, all right. I'm not trying to disagree with you, Alex, because I totally like you're very. How do they determine this momentum graph? I don't know. What is this momentum like? How do you determine when you have the ball, when you have momentum? Like, is this a 50-50 ball? Is that a good shot? Because like when you take a shot, and a lot of times what happens in soccer is the guy will take a shot outside the box and he'll blow it over or whatever, and then you see the rest of his team be like, "Man, what the hell? Don't take that shot! Like, keep moving the ball around." Like that arguably is momentum for the defensive team, not the opposing attacking. Like, what do you determine on momentum? Like,
I mean, Canada had more expected goals for whatever that's worth.
I want to know what is because a lot of these stats are showing up for World Cup that I don't see year round, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I've never seen this momentum graph
Okay, that's
before.
all I'm trying to
Yeah.
point out is like this is not a thing they have in the Premier League or La Liga, and I'm just like making stuff up here. Like this is some of my first time seeing what these grids are.
All right. Well,
All right,
Morocco got the dub on their fast break goals.
yeah,
Canada fought hard, but it wasn't
they
meant to
did.
be.
Yeah.
All right. Portugal, Spain. This game was a snooze fest. I got nothing to say. This game was boring as hell. It was like watching two
Um,
teams pass.
yeah, the neither team. So this is what happens when the big countries actually respect their opponent. You watch the countries when they don't respect their opponent, and you see how many numbers get thrown forward. But both of these countries were like, if we get caught off on an uneven number attack, we throw one too many guys forward, we're going to get punished by the quality of players in this game. So every time they attacked, it looked like four. It looked like sometimes Spain didn't even have a central attacker. Sometimes there's just a big hole there with no one there. They were trying to send Alex Bios and Arizabal up there, but like it just looked like no. So yeah, this one unfortunately didn't play out as it should have been. But I'm gonna finish it off with I'm the midfield that's being featured in this game. They've got my favorite player in the world probably right now, so I could just watch him play soccer for 90. Pedri is worth the price of admission anytime, any game, anywhere you go play. If you guys want, watch him next when Spain's next game. He's the best in the world at what he does.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying there wasn't talent on the field. I'm saying the game itself didn't really play out in an interesting way.
Agreed. Agreed.
I forgot to share some fun stats about some of these other games. So I'm going to share them now. I do apologize. The Japan Brazil loss. Japan had a no goal where the ball almost crossed the entire line, but didn't apparently,
Oh, that's right.
and that was pretty heartbreaking because that would have tied them against Brazil. And I saw a lot of memes of it being blurred when they showed it on Japanese TV, because they're known for blurring certain things that I don't want to
Hmm.
talk about on the pod, but I think you know what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. Ecuador, I talked about Ecuador earlier. Their head coach, to me, just looked like a hippie who'd wandered onto the field and then started coaching. The way he was dressed with the super long hair. So that cracked me up. I'm still in
Dude,
my fashion.
we should get into that. Like some of these coaches are dressed like they are going to play the game. Some of these coaches are dressed like they're going to a club. And then some of them are like overly dressed, and then they have the crazy pit stains that you were talking
Yeah,
about.
Belgium's coach was rocking a three-piece suit
I
basically, and he had
I
mad pit
agree with
stains.
Nolan. It looks professional. Or I forget who said on the phone. I was like, it looks professional. It looks nice. Just don't raise your arms when you're yelling at people.
That ruins the image. What you're saying?
Yeah,
Uh,
I would rather have my coach have pit stains with a suit on than some of these nightclub outfits that these some of these coaches were wearing. Holy heck.
Speaking of coaching, this goes back to the group stage, but when Germany played Ivory Coast, they kept giving Germany's coach props for the substitute he made because the substitute came in and scored. And it's like that substitute Undov had scored nine goals
Underdog,
and
yeah.
11 caps. Like maybe he should just
Yeah.
be starting, right? Like,
That's the contra. Wow, you sound like a German. You sound like an Arsenal fan and a German fan. Kai Havertz is criticized. My brother and I have talked about this a lot. Okay, don't get me wrong. Let's take a step back for a second. He's still playing on one of the best teams in the world, right? But when you start comparing him to other people that are playing that same position on other in the world, so like he's playing the same position Mbappe is playing for France, or he's playing the same position, you know, what's it called? Holland plays for Man City. So like, don't get me wrong, he's still elite talent. But when you start comparatively, you get what I'm trying to say? He is
yeah,
so criticized, Alex. Like Havertz is one of the most criticized players in the country, and that's why Undav didn't start. And it's like Havertz can't escape this. On Arsenal, is it Gyökeres? Is it Martinelli? Is it one of these guys? And it's like then he gets on Germany. It's like oh, he still can't escape it. Everywhere he goes, it's like should he be starting over the guys behind him? Because the guys behind him are like. That's who you're being compared with is the Mbappe's, Hollands. Like you're playing center striker for Germany and Arsenal, bro. Like you're supposed to be the top percent. So yeah, Alex, that's funny that you bring that up. It's spoken like a true German.
well, I'm not a true German, but yeah, I just thought it was funny. Like giving the coach credit for like putting in a sub that scores, and it's like, yeah, but that sub scores every game he plays. Like maybe he just be playing.
It's because no other coach in the world takes out Havertz for some reason. It's like they don't take him out. Finally, the German head coach is like, okay, I'll do what's the Arsenal's head
Kai
coach is
Havertz missed the
considered.
PK in that PK shootout that they lost to Paraguay.
I know, and he scored the goal though before that. So he's literally hit or miss all the time. He's the one who scored the goal to put them into the PKs, and then he misses a PK. I feel so bad for him. Imagine being like so great at your talent, but then just criticized your whole life. Because think about it, and you take a step back, look at the elephant or the whole forest or whatever. He's probably like a top 60 or 50 player in the world. Poor guy.
Yeah,
Grab some bench, bro.
sometimes you can't win. All right,
Yeah.
let's see what other fun facts I have. Oh, here's a weird one. In Cape Verde game, they had a player whose name was Pina, first letter K, last name Pina, but his jersey said Kevin L. Like, did they just misspell his name and they rocked with it? Like, what was that about?
I don't know actually on that one. You've got me on that one.
The graphic called him, K Pina. The announcer called him K Pina, but his jersey said Kevin L. I was like, okay, that's kind of weird.
Is this like your Netherlands player with Bob?
Yeah, Oscar Bob, the Netherlands player. You guys can look him up. I'm not gonna make that comment on air, but I thought that was interesting. Um,
Very confusing.
but also just like the builds of players in general. There was a game, I forget, it was either like South Korea or Japan, whose like average height was 5'9", and they were playing some Eastern European team whose average height was like 6'2". And I'm like, that
Yeah.
is quite the discrepancy on corner kicks.
Yeah.
Um,
Don't give up any corners.
anyway, I have a question for you, Mitch.
Sure.
Is good defense fun to watch the way that like a no hitter is fun to watch in baseball, or do you want like just scoring? Because like some of these games we've had like 1-0 or 1-1 to a shootout, 1-0, 1-0,
You
like
want like so the extreme like
or
so the question
or
is
do you
like
like the 3-0 or the 3-2? You know what I mean? Like I get that they can both be. Obviously, the ones that are high scoring are interesting. So I guess what my question is: do you find the close games that are close because of good defense, not because they're close because of bad offense, but close because of good defense? Do you find them interesting the same way you find?
that's a great question, but because I think my answer is 100% dependent on the quality of the skill. Because you can have good defense, but if no one can dribble by you, I hate. I don't want to make this reference. I'm trying to think of something. Sorry, not trying not to get in trouble. But it's like, all right, screw it. I'll just make the reference to all our 12 viewers, anyways. It's like when you watch the women's side play, they have so much technical ability, like phenomenal, way better than, but no one takes anyone one on one. There's no skill. So it's like you could have good defense, but if no one's got any creativity and skill to take you on, how good is really the defense being displayed because no one has the ability to take you on? Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
So it's more of the quality of skill. If you put up a 1-0 tie against a Spain or a Portugal and it's because you're afraid of the quality of the skill out there, I'm okay with watching that type of game versus maybe a 4-3, you know, Saudi Arabia, Mexico game, or not, that game was terrible. I forget which one they played after. That was 4-3. But like, I'm trying to say, it's like, I guess it's more of the quality of skill than as opposed to the goals. Because if you look at some of these defensive players and their athletic ability, it would be extremely hard to dribble a ball by this person. Like I'm going to go back to Jonathan Tah. Like I could not imagine many people in the world would be able to dribble a ball by him. And when you finally do, just because of his raw athleticism and natural agility, like, and when you finally do, he'll probably just catch right back up with you. It's not like you're going to blow by him dribbling the ball because everyone in the world is faster without the ball than someone is dribbling the ball.
right.
So it's like,
Well,
so
I
it's
mean, not
like,
ever in the world. I still don't think I could outrun some of these guys, but yeah, fair
so,
enough.
sure, but yeah. So like, I'm just saying, like, I just think it's just a long-winded way of saying, I guess it's the quality of skill. If you have a 0-0 tie out there and you've got Upamecano and Jonathan Tah out there as your, Saliba, like these guys are world-class athletes. It would be like, I want one day. Who's a good example? Who's like our best corner? Lattimore is old and retired. Who's like the best corner right now? Not Ramsey. Ramsey's older. Like one of our top elite corners in the NFL to play outside defense or center back if you're a little bit taller. And like, I don't know how many people are going to be able to dribble around like a Russell Westbrook if he plays defense. Remember, Russell Westbrook would be a tall soccer player because he's still like 6'2", 6'3", he's just a short basketball player. So it's like, I even if you dribble around Westbrook, he's probably going to catch right back up to you in a second, like in a heartbeat. Like, I think I'm just rambling now. It's the quality of skill.
Fair enough. Well, the reason I ask is a lot of records being set this World Cup, and one of them is Spain. 6 straight clean sheets, first time ever uh, in a World Cup. Which, I mean, they've only had 5 games. I'm not sure how it's six. I guess that dates back to the last. Well, no, that doesn't work out either. I don't know what the sixth one comes from. Maybe it's 5 straight clean sheets. But either way, Spain keeping them clean, which brings up another question: is does having this extra round, like, sure, maybe it's nice for like the teams that get to come, does it in any way taint some of the records because you get an extra knockout game against lesser competition
Yeah,
potentially?
definitely. No, it's gonna be a line of demarcation or whatever you want to call it. Like this is like, what's the another one they do is like, oh, when the ABA merged with the NBA or whatever, or another line of demarc was like, oh, when the what was it, the AFL or something like that, in the 60s with the NFL or whatever. So it's just like. I think this is going to be another one of those references where it's like, oh, was it, pre 2024 World Cup or not? Because, yeah, it's not fair to have a full extra knockout game. Not just a group stage game, Alex. Like a full knockout game is crazy because it's like to make to the top 16 used to be like extremely hard. There's a lot of teams that can make the top 32. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, so. Yeah, it's definitely going to change. Like, there's going to be guys scoring goals in knockout stages, and you're going to be like, to score a knockout goal used to mean like that means you got to the top 16 and scored against a top country because chances are in the top 16 you're going to have to go up against one of these big boys finally. So a knockout goal meant a lot, but now it's like, hey, I scored a knockout goal. Oh, did you really? Canada versus Morocco? Like, come on. Or what was the other one? South Africa, Canada. That's considered a knockout stage goal. Not, come on. That's completely different than what we're used to. But we're just gonna sound old, Alex. Get off our lawn. Oh well.
Yeah, true. Very true. I'm always the one that want to change things. That's fair. But I just I don't know. Like I almost wish that we kept the records separate. I know you can't do that because you're in the middle of players' careers, so it'd be kind of unfair. But like I don't know. It's just like we have more. We have for the first time ever we have 3 players with 7 or more goals in World Cup, and it's like that's really cool. That's great. But the reason we have that is because they got to play an extra game against lesser competition in the knockout stage, and they got to play against lesser competition in the group stage.
Yeah. The lesser competition in the group stage is probably the biggest significance
Like
for me as well.
like
Because
Germany
yeah.
did not do well this World Cup, but they have the biggest blowout, winning 7-1 in the group stage against Curacao because they played Curacao.
Yeah,
Half their population fits in the stadium. Not an exaggeration. That's a true fact.
that is,
All right. Well, I think
that's a great point.
I've stalled long enough, Mitch. We got to talk about
Really
Belgium
good.
USA. This is the game that happened yesterday. We were all on a Zoom call watching. A lot of the guys. I had my family here watching it: mom, dad, sister, her boyfriend, then all the bros. And man, that was embarrassing. That was by far the worst game Team USA, at least this version of Team USA, has played. We got punched in the mouth early. We tried to battle back and then immediately got punched in the mouth again and never recovered. I just felt like we felt like deer in the headlights. I just felt like we were never ready for the big stage. I don't know if the pressure got to us or what, but it felt like a team that was like in the playoffs for the first time and wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, I feel like our players felt the reality of the situation that like, hey, we want to make this World Cup run. We're gonna go on. We're gonna be America's darlings. And then all of a sudden, it's like, wait, we know all these players on Belgium's side, and we know the quality that they are. Like for someone like Christian Pulisic who plays against these guys week in and week out, he looks at that other side and sees like, someone like Doku who didn't even start the game against us. That's a guy who plays for Man City and scores goals in the Premier League for a top team in the world. Like you look across and it's probably like a realization of like, wow, this great, amazing feeling, this great story. We're gonna go. It's like it's ending because like we can't, we're not, those, our players aren't stupid. Like McKenny, who plays for Juventus, he also plays against players like this day in, day out. And he's probably looking across going, yeah, this is such a giant mismatch. And it's kind of the reality, I think, hit them. And then their play ended up resulting like it rather than just coming in with nothing to lose, nothing to fear, massive underdogs. I think they came in like I've never seen McKenny play that bad of a game. And Tyler Adams, too. Like, they played like they were told, hey, you're not as good as these other guys, and went out and played like it. I've never seen them play so timid in an American uniform before. Usually it's like, I think it was a realization. It's like the only thing I could come to my mind was like one of my last games of senior year in high school when you're like, man, my high school career is coming to an end. I'm never going to play a high school soccer game again. And, I think that's what it was coming for a lot of these players. Like, for like Ream, a lot of these guys, even for Ream to give up that third goal, like that's still soft for him, regardless of who it is. Like the second, what was it, the header goal? Which one was the header goal where
The
he gave up
second
the
goal.
header? That was the
Second.
second one. Even the second one, that's soft as well, too. If at worst, foul him in the box. Don't get beat like that. At worst, foul him. You know what I mean? Like, that should be at worst, not a goal where he goes over the top of you like that. That's embarrassing. I felt like they were out there kind of shell shocked, and they never really woke up until Tillman scored, and then they give up a goal within seconds of that Tillman. And if you want to really look at it from an unbiased perspective, like that Tillman was a great shot, but he didn't mean to do that. That got deflected. If that shot goes how he intended, there's no reasoning behind it that goalkeeper doesn't save it, and we don't have a goal at all. So. I'm just saying, it's like, we just got a gift, guys, on a deflected goal. Wake the F up. Like, you've been asleep the whole first half. I think that's why Pochettino overreacted a little bit on the sideline because it was kind of like how do you describe this? Take a technical type of thing and get your team fired up, or get a flag. Like a head coach coming out on the field and getting a flag for, you know what I mean? Just like get your team fired up. I think that's what Pochettino is trying because our whole team looked like, okay, let me put it this way. If you were the players on Belgium's team and you've played in elite games all around the world, world champions, Champions League games, finals, top matches and World Cups before, and you're like, this team is supposed to beat us? No, 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 no. That like I don't think I think it was just like we cowered to a better team and didn't play. Like,
I
okay,
don't know.
let me also put
I'm not gonna put that on them. I don't think they were scared. I just think the pressure got to them. Like they played awful. Like it wasn't like Belgium was just better and more talented than us. Like, yes, on paper they might be, but that's not what happened. We just played really like it was the worst game I've ever seen this group of players play, and it wasn't because they were outclassed. It because they weren't in it. Their heads weren't in it. I you know
I could
I just think they
argue
were doing the
that the
headlines.
I could argue that the pressure was more immense for the Paraguay opener. That we've been waiting years and years and years, and we're hosting a World Cup. This is one of our best teams we ever had. How are we going to come out and play Paraguay? And that first half, Paraguay ends up beating Germany and advancing. That first half, we routed Paraguay, and it's
Right,
like,
that's why that's why I think the pressure built throughout the course of the tournament because you look at it and you're like, okay, so when you look at this, it's like, okay, so Paraguay beats Germany,
yeah,
Paraguay goes toe to toe with France, only loses 1-0 at the end of the game, right? And this is a team that we clapped. So Belgium, who we're about to play, has been struggling mightily, just barely escaped Senegal. Like we were even odds in Vegas going into this
yeah,
game, which we should not have been. They were ninth in the world, we were 16th, right? This
yeah,
should not have been an
agreed.
even odds game, but we were even odds. Like I think the expert, and then like the whole red card being overturned, like added more pressure and expectations to us that we got this special treatment. I just think the pressure got to them. I don't. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm not willing to say that they were afraid. I don't think that's what it was. I just think the pressure got to them.
Right. I want to. I don't know why I'm doing a high school comparison again. I don't know why I'm doing this. It's
Yeah,
just
that'll
coming
really
again. But
resonate to our national audience if you want to talk
yeah,
about high school.
exactly. But I was trying to do our, like Vinny, Chris, and everyone. This is like if like you knew where the better players and the better athletes were. So it's like if you were like playing Palm Desert football and you're like, oh, we're playing Indio football right now. You're like, okay, well, this game's not, there's no one on that team that can really beat us. But then it's like, okay, well, when you play like Palm Springs or Lakita, it's like, okay, now based off the quality of the opponents, that's all I meant was like, the pressure should have been roughly the same, but like we as our American athletes were like, hey, we are better than the Paraguay athletes. Let's go out. We can beat it, even though the pressure is just as great. But when you go out there and you're like, oh, the pressure is great to get past the round of 16 to get to a top eight game, but I don't think we could actually beat this other team. That's what
Or
it looked
okay,
like
I
for
understand
me.
that this is the first game where like we were like the true underdogs because it was
Right.
like the Bosnia game was the first ever knockout game we played where we were not the underdog.
Right.
So I get what you're saying. All right, let's move
Yeah.
on. We got a few more games to cover, and I only got about 15 minutes or so
I'll just,
left.
yeah, no, for sure. I just want to cap it on this. Like, uh, uh, I know we're not on the Egypt game yet, but Egypt, Canada against Morocco, Mexico game, they all can hold their heads up very high and be very proud. And I'm not talking about like right now, just I'm talking about like 4 years, 8 years, back when you think about it, like you could be proud of this World Cup and how it ended up and the result. You Americans, this is embarrassing. This felt like the group play exit where it's like, hey, we did really good, really good. Oh, we just tanked against Turkey. Oh, that doesn't feel good.
I mean, there
Okay,
were
we
there were a lot of good things we did this World Cup, but the way it ended is always going to leave a bad taste in people's mouths.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Um, all right, moving on. Norway, Brazil. Two words for you: Erling Holland. That's really all I have to say.
Yeah.
Brazil takes the early lead. You think? No, sorry, they didn't take the lead. Sorry, this was a tight game, and then Erling Holland scored, and then scored again, and then, oops, and then
Neymar scored a penalty at the end.
the first goal was a great goal. The second goal was just Brazil was so desperate to score they just forgot that he existed, did not cover him. He's like, all right, I'm just gonna shoot, and he scored. And then they got a penalty in the 100th minute, even though there was only supposed to be 108 minutes in the game, or excuse me, only supposed to be 98 minutes in the game. So how that works, I don't know. But in the 100th minute, and Neymar got his goodbye goal, scoring in his third World Cup. He only played about 10 minutes, but he did get to score.
Yeah.
So good for Neymar and Neymar fans, I guess. He's never really performed on the World Cup stage. I guess he's always kind of hurt going into World Cups. But just another one of the greats who's now seen the exit. Luka Modric, Ronaldo.
Oh yeah, there'll be plenty.
Yeah,
There's a lot, especially on the lesser nations like Arnautica of Austria, Alaba. Like there's so many. Alaba played for Bayern Munich for like 12 years and then played for Real Madrid for like three. And I was like, oh wait, Alba's still playing? And he's captain of Austria? That's pretty cool. I haven't seen you in like 5 years, bro. So yeah, there's a lot. It's fascinating that the athletes later. I don't know if it's our generation, Alex, or what it is in the water or whatever, but they were able to play into their some of them into their late 30s. That was never a thing before.
yeah. There's been a lot of
Remember,
saved penalties as well, which has been great. All these ads I want to show some, but there was a save penalty in this game, um, as well. Also in the Cape Verde game, they had a save penalty in that game to keep them in it against Argentina. They ended up losing, but a lot of save penalties this World Cup, which has been fun. Um, well, I was just going to show the crowd. Not great. All right. Yeah. Moving on. Best game of the tournament, Mexico England. Oh my God, that game was insane. There was a bogus red card, as I mentioned, which I do think puts a little bit of a damper on it, at least for me, because I think the game was epic before that red card happened at the 54th minute. Now, it was still epic after that, but it could have been even more epic. But you had Mexico, who was all over England for the first 35 minutes. Like, it was a one sided match. And then Bellingham had a breakout goal. 2 minutes later, a second breakout goal. You think now the momentum's completely changed. Now Mexico's out of it. Their big scorer, Quinones, he gets a goal on an absolute cracker in the 42nd minute to make it 2-1 going into the half. So, like, all right, this game's great. Come out of halftime. England gets a bad red card. The guy's foot gets caught on the ball, which forces his studs to go up. I don't think that was his intent. If you watch it, I don't think if he doesn't land awkwardly on the ball, that never happens. But he did. So gets a red card. England plays with 10 men. England gets a penalty and scores on it. But then Mexico gets a penalty and scores on it. And so it was an epic game through and through. It was tight the whole way through. Super fun to watch. A lot of fouls, for sure. A lot of fouls, a lot of cards, but it was fun to watch. To me, this
yeah,
is the game of the tournament.
unlike you, it was a great game. Unlike the U.S. having Kwanzaa or not, uh, isn't going to affect their outcome because unlike the U.S., who were desperate for Balogun, and which ended up having no result. This one as well will not get. They should have the red card rescinded, and it's the protocol of the VAR is not supposed to be used this way. That's why I got respect for the USA game. They should follow suit, but they won't, of course. And but it won't matter because Kwanzaa probably wouldn't start anyways. England was rotating their lineup a little bit. Fascinating game. Mexico, I think that was their third loss in the last 60 something years in that stadium or whatever, ever. So crazy to think about. Uh, and that last 15 minutes, Mexico was just throwing balls in the box, and I thought for sure one of them was going to go in, and England just held on barely.
Yeah, it was epic game. Wish it went longer. That's how good that game was. If you haven't watched any games, I highly recommend both of England's knockout games. Honestly, but yeah. All right, moving on to today, the last round or the last couple games of the round of 16. Argentina, Egypt. Egypt got absolutely robbed. Egypt scored twice, had their second goal taken back on VAR. We talked about earlier how bogus VAR has kind of become. They took back a goal where the alleged foul that was not called in the field was like 15 seconds prior. Neither the goal scorer nor the guy who got the primary assist were the ones who committed the alleged foul. So much time had passed, but
Sounds like
their
100
epic
yards
team
away.
goal gets disallowed. They then score again anyway to take the 2-0 lead. And then, as you can see, in the last 20 minutes of the game, Argentina scores 2 goals. Messi, who had a PK saved again, he's now missed 3 of his last 4 PKs, 2 PKs in this World Cup. He scores an equalizer to extend his lead again in the Golden Boot race. And then Enzo Fernandez gets the dub in extra time. An absolute epic game. Um, can't help but feel bad for the Pharaohs, though.
The Pharaohs, oh gosh.
Again, that's not me. That's what they call themselves. Please, please, please don't at me. I gotta ask you though, Mitch. Did you see this game?
Um, the Egypt game, yes. I
What
watched it
did you
this
think about the
morning.
disallowed goal? Did you think that was a legitimate call, or do you think that's bogus for VAR to go back that far?
I think it's absolutely bogus. If the goal resulted right away because of the foul, sure. But number 12, by the way, had the game of his life. He plays in, I had to look him up because I didn't know who he was. Is number 12 for Egypt, Hassan. He plays in the Arabic League, so I don't know who he is. But man, that guy needs to play somewhere in Europe because he dominated. He juked the guy on the baseline, goes nutmegs another guy, and then cuts inside on a third defender, goes all the way up, and then slots a pass. There's another pass. It's like, so no, that foul either gets called then or there or not. That foul, if you look, so where do we draw the line? Every time there's a goal, we could just go back X amount of play, X amount of sequence of events. Where do we draw the line? Like, why don't we just go back, 15 plays ago or whatever? And that was a foul, so that goal doesn't count. Like, no, you can't do that. And not to mention, the play was 100 yards away from the foul, 100 yards away. Like, there's so many sequence events things that happen in between. No, that's a terrible call. I also am getting tired of watching Argentina. I could do a whole podcast on it, but we're getting to the end of this one, so I'll just let it go. But man, what is going to happen when they actually play a real
It,
country? Don't say because I don't know who won the game this afternoon, and I'm going to watch it tonight. So please don't tell me. But like, who is Argentina beating this World Cup? Nobody
they
really. Like,
haven't. They haven't been anybody.
yeah,
They've played Cape Verde and Egypt, and they're either going to play Colombia or Switzerland,
right,
which I think we'll both agree that one of those is not really a top tier team.
right, agreed. So it's like I'm so nervous to say the stuff I want to say about Colombia because the game's already happened. But Colombia looked so good during the group stage in the first game, so I don't want to say anything. But uh, because I'm gonna look like an idiot right now. But I think Colombia, yeah, yeah. So it's just yeah, that game. Also, the way Argentina plays, where they just complain on every single call, and then they're always embellishing it, and then they're all. It's just I love Messi. I love watching Messi. I'm enjoying it for what it is, as Matt tells me. But I don't think I'm gonna miss the days as much as people think I will, or as much as they will. I don't. It's just.
Do you think that VAR call was a little bit of we want to keep Messi in the tournament?
I'm not gonna go that far. I think the VAR call is. I think the VAR call is them trying to implement or do the best they can for FIFA. Uh, I don't know, and then just overstepping. I don't know. I think it's more of just like this is what we were told to do by my boss, my employer, so I'm going to do what I was told, and then you're just kind of losing like the spirit of the game type of thing with these calls. But for the most part, the World Cup's been very enjoyable. So I don't think VR has really ruined it yet.
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
yet.
look, it's super fun. You can't beat it. It's one of the best events in sports. Um, but yeah, there are definitely some things that could go differently. Um, speaking of VAR, there was that goal earlier in the tournament where a German player kicked an Ecuadorian player in the face, and then 2 passes later, a goal was scored. This all happened like in the box, and VAR doesn't overturn that goal. And it's like, but then this happens where a player's foot gets stepped on, and then 100 yards and 4 passes later, a goal scored is taken away.
Yeah, I don't understand that German goal either because that one was like the argument was that the ball was playable and the player put his head there, but it's like, well, that's not a natural position for your leg to be up that high. So like I didn't understand that one at all, like at all, at all. And then VAR doesn't step in and overturn it. Yeah, I think the issue becomes not necessarily VAR, but I think just the different nationalities of all the refs, Alex. I understand you said earlier that, the game should be called one way and, but I think it's just like some of these refs are not seeing the games this as like, I guess a majority of refs see it. I don't know.
Yeah. Um, Two more quick questions. One, so now that Messi has missed his last 2 PKs, if Argentina gets a PK in the next round, do you have someone else take it?
Hell no.
No, you still riding with him? Okay, fair enough. Uh, and then I just want to point out to all the fans, Cape Verde is still the only team in World Cup history to never lose a game in regular time
Was
because
it
they did
zero
lose with an
zero?
extra time.
Oh
So
gosh.
props to Cape Verde. Um, all right, last question I'm going to ask you, Mitch. Who's your favorite of the eight? Well, two things. Of the eight remaining teams, do you think there's anyone who doesn't deserve to be there? So we have
Wait,
France.
don't tell me the eighth
I'm not
team
going
though.
to. We have
Okay.
France, Morocco, Spain, Belgium, Norway, England, Argentina, and then either Colombia or Switzerland. So of the seven remaining teams that you know, is there
No,
anyone that
they
doesn't
all
belong?
uh no, they all belong.
Okay, then who's your favorite?
It's just France just it's like I want to not pick France to be like not the contrarian or anything, but they're so heavily the favorites that even my contrarian side of me is like, don't be stupid. Like, don't be contrarian on this topic. It's not worth it. You don't be stupid. This is like trust your eyes and your heart on this one. Like, this is one of the best teams we've seen in a while. Like, they left. I tell this to people all the time. They left a starting Real Madrid midfielder. His name's Camavinga. He was on the team 4 years ago when they played against Argentina in the. He came in the 60th minute. He started 3 of the 5 games, and in the World Cup finals, he came in as their first sub. And 4 years before that, when he was a teenager sensation at like 17, 18, he was on the team. They left him off the World Cup, and he's 26 years old right now. They left him off the World Cup. That's how good France is. Just, I don't think it's just too hard not to pick France.
All right, so you're obviously taking France over Morocco, Spain, Belgium. Who you got?
Oh, I thought you just meant one team.
No, no,
Sorry.
no, no. I did mean one team, and I also had France as
Oh,
my
okay,
W. But I'm
Spain,
just, I'm just now I'm
Spain.
just doing this for fun, real quick.
I think Spain's the only team that has a chance to actually beat France. And if Spain played France 10 times, I think Spain could only win it 4 times.
Okay.
That's how good France is.
All right. Well, I mean that's 60-40, pretty close still. But all right, Norway, England.
Uh, I'm actually rooting for Norway, but I have to give it to England.
All right, and then Argentina, mystery opponent.
Uh, I'm telling you right now, mystery opponent. I don't even care who the mystery opponent is. I'm every game I watch against Argentina, I'm rooting against
All
Argentina.
right,
And
fair enough.
the sad part is I like Messi. I've always been a Messi fan, and he is the GOAT. I'm not arguing that. I just can't stand Argentina soccer.
All right, let's wrap it there, Mitch. Any final thoughts?
No, I've enjoyed this, enjoyed it. It's taken up a lot of my world. Usually I do a lot of things during the afternoon before work, and I've not been very productive the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of World Cup, and I hope to watch a lot more. I mean, we only got, if you count there's only 7 games left, 8 if you count the one we haven't seen yet today. So enjoy it while it lasts, because it's not going to happen again for another 4 years.
You don't have to answer this with a long. I have a question for you, Alex. We can sign
Sure.
off. You don't have to give a long one. You give a short answer if you want. You say yes or no. Do you think this World Cup will have any effect on the viewership of Americans watching overseas or Americans watching the MLS?
No, because of how we petered out, it's not a good look. Also, our players weren't MLS players. That doesn't really help the MLS. Um, like, what you're gonna watch, Matt Freeze?
But Messi and some of yeah, I gotcha.
Right, but I think if you were already watching Messi, you were already watching Messi. I don't think it's going to
For
increase.
sure.
Like,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, it may increase the amount of people who are interested in soccer, but I don't know that's going to increase the amount of people interested in MLS soccer. There might be more people going to MLS games, but watching on TV, I think if this World Cup gets anyone into watching it on TV, they're going to watch EPL probably. I mean, I'm not even going to say La Liga and Bundesliga, which are also right up there, just because EPL's in English.
Gotcha. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't. I'm gonna have to agree 100% with what you said.
Yeah, I don't think it's like hockey where hockey gets a massive bump because all the stars play in the same league. I think in soccer where they all play in different leagues and specifically not in the American League for the most part, you don't get
Right.
the same bump.
That's a great point. So if you want to watch, oh, hey, this new guy, Elise, I've never, oh, where's he plays in for Bayern, so he's in the Bundesliga. Oh, so he doesn't play against Mbappe
Yeah,
and
you're
Yamal,
like,
and he
oh man,
doesn't
Erling
play
Haaland and
against
Mbappe.
Kane.
When do I get to watch them play each other? Like, oh, they don't. They don't play in the same league.
They do for champions, but I go
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
maybe once a year,
Yeah.
maybe. So yeah, yeah, that's well said, Alex. All right,
All right, and with that, we're out. Peace.
bye.